Hi, my name is Ruslan. I'm a student of Business Information Technology here in Germany, and I would like to help you to avoid some bad circumstances which would let you probably fail your studies. But before we start with the actual video, if you like this video, you can simply support it by just giving one simple like. Thank you. Studies. If you are a student, you know how hard it is, you know how exhausting it is, you know how stressful it is, you know that studies giving you panic attacks, you got anxiety, and I don't even have to mention the one bad word no students want to hear, and this is exam. At that moment where you hear that word, you definitely know you have to learn, you definitely know you should stop watching YouTube, you should definitely stop watching Netflix, and you should definitely learn. And even at that time where you're starting to learn, your mind is A, not there to learn, or B, your mind is constantly telling you that you're not good enough, or your mind is telling you that you have to learn even faster because 6, 7 or 8 different subjects are also important like this one, because if you don't learn them you will definitely fail. And because you probably also have experienced the same things like I do, I would like to share my experience with you and to help you out, so you're gonna see that you're probably not the only one who has the same problems like you do. So the first external circumstance you will probably have to face is the parental pressure. So in my case, I'm Arabian, and I know how the families in my community are trying to put a lot of pressure on the children. So if you're like part of the Arabian community, you have to be an engineer, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, and at least you have to be the president of your country.
شو أنت حتتخرج؟ حتصير دكتور؟ حتصير محامي؟ مليونير؟ نايب؟ أنت حتتجوز؟ أنت حتجيب ولاد؟ أنت حتحل عني. نقي.
And there's also another type of parents I also have recognized. Those are the parents who are overhyping their children. I mean, seriously, they live in some kind of villages and they overhyping their children. They're telling everybody my children is studying and my child is the best at school and whatever, and he becomes the president of our country. But in reality, this poor girl, this poor boy is fighting through all the D's he or she can get during the studies to survive, but their parents are telling everybody knows that their child is actually studying. And this is the other type of pressure people put on the children, which is definitely not healthy. I totally understand that your parents are making this kind of pressure not because they hate you, they even do it because they love you, and they oftentimes forget that this type of behavior is actually doing more harm than good. And the best way, in my own experience, how you can handle the situation is simply by accepting that you are a grown-up person and that you are the one who has to take the responsibility for yourself, and that you are the one that it is your life and you have to make the decisions, and you are the only one you have to make happy at that moment when you go to college. And the circumstance you should definitely avoid is the circumstance to have this constantly pressure to succeed. I know that many students who go actually to college, they have this kind of illusion that they only should get straight A's, they should have the best work experience, they should probably start their own startup company, they should do volunteer work, or whatever kind of expectations people have on them, and they try desperately to fulfill those expectations, and it makes them even feel more miserable. Because if you always run for the expectations other people have on you, no matter if you succeed or not, you always probably will end up be unhappy with the results you receive. And the thing is, I have recognized by myself is that the more I'm focusing on the success itself, the harder it gets for me to be successful. Give yourself the space also to fail, be honest with yourself, do your best, and then you will definitely recognize something really positive, that you will actually start to enjoy learning. Every time I try to focus myself, every time I try to gather as much brain energy as possible to solve a task, my brain suddenly shovels up some old memories. Like memories I really felt embarrassed, like when I was in elementary school, or memories I have forgotten since decades, and suddenly they're coming up and they try to embarrass me again. They will say, oh, do you remember this embarrassing situation you had when you was, and everybody was probably laughing about you or whatever. So I recognize that my brain is probably lazy, and my brain probably doesn't want to work. It does just want to eat chocolate, it wants to watch YouTube, it wants to watch Netflix. My brain doesn't want to work. And if you have the same type of brain like I do, you can do something about it. You have to constantly remind your brain that you are actually the one who controls him and not the other way around. So every time your brain tries to manipulate you, tries to tell you your degree is worthless, you can't success, you are a failure, you can't do nothing, you're nobody, why do you study? Every time the negative thoughts come up, you have to control them. You must control them. And I can tell you from my own experience, like I was at the beginning really lazy because I was too much controlled by my emotions instead of actually learning. And the more I try to focus on my thoughts, and the more I try to control them, and the more I don't give negative thoughts no space for them, the easier for me it is to learn constantly, even longer. And you can definitely do it too. At first it's gonna be a little bit difficult, probably it hurts a little bit to do this, but you will definitely see that over the time, the more you do it, the easier it is to learn actually. The last bad circumstance you will definitely face is that you're probably overworked, and you should definitely give yourself time to relax. I know this sounds a little bit counterproductive with all the advices you have heard somewhere on YouTube or whatever, where people say you have to be motivated, you have to know why you do this, you have to know this, you have to know that. And the thing is that people who are really motivated, they don't need even more motivation to be productive. But the biggest problem is that they are overworked, they don't meet friends, they don't take care about their physical health, they don't take care even about their mental health. And this can have really bad side effects. And this is the reason why I give myself, for example, a space where I can be lazy. What lazy means, it is up to you. For example, for me, if I want to relax by myself, I like to watch some, let's say, dystopian movies, and I like to watch some Korean psycho thriller. I know it sounds stupid, but they relax me. And sometimes I also want to meet my friends, hang out, be stupid, don't overthink everything, which also relax me at the same time. So you have to find out what is actually relaxing you. Our body is constantly communicating with us, and at that moment where I don't take too much care about myself, I constantly recognize that I wake up with a clenched fist every morning, and this is not good. This is a sign where I recognize that my body has too much stress and I have to relax. And you don't have to feel bad about it, because the people who are already lazy, they know they will definitely feel bad about it. But I'm talking more about the people who are productive, and this is the advice you should take care. Don't feel bad, to relax a little bit, to give yourself something good. So learn and listen to yourself and take care about yourself.